Welcome to the Backyard Machine Shop. Well, today we were going to start working on the Lima Drive and going through the motor and the gearbox, making sure everything was okay. But right off the bat, my first thing I was going to do was I was going to wire it up, and I opened up the pecker head here and noticed there was only 3 wires. So I was like, well, the motor is a single voltage and I hope it's the correct voltage. So took some mineral spirits, wiped the tag off because I couldn't read it, and guess what? It's single voltage and it's 550 volts. So we've got a little problem. Now I do have one circuit in the shop that's transformed up to 480 volts that would handle this motor, but the problem is it's only a 2 horsepower motor, and that's borderline as it is. And then if you try to run 480 with the 550, it's probably going to go down to 1.5 horses or so, maybe a little more, which is doable. But I think it's just a little too small for this lathe. So, well, really don't know what to do. But what I'm planning on doing, I'm going to go ahead and take this motor off, take the mount off, separate it, and maybe try to adapt another motor to it. I have a 3-horse C-flange motor, and or maybe it's a 2-horse. I can't remember. I have to go dig it out. I do have a 1 horsepower motor that measures, as far as the bolt locations, measures up like it'll bolt in, but I'm not sure about the shaft or anything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take it apart. I'm not even going to bother test running it. I mean, the gearbox works. You can shift the gears. So really and truly, what we're going to end up doing is either we're going to adapt the motor to the gearbox, or make a shaft with an end cap and a shaft that we can drive it somehow. But we're going to drive this gearbox with another motor. So I'll invite you to stay around. We're going to pull it apart and see how it's built, and then we'll look at that as our options of making a mount for it. Stay tuned. I'll get the cameras around and we will proceed. Alright guys, there's the tag, and you can see right here it's 550 volts. Now sometimes they rewire these motors for 480 or 240, but normally they'll stamp that out and then they'll put another tag on it telling you that it's been done. Like I said, I've already pulled the pecker head off, or the weather head off, however you want to call it, and it's 3 wires. And like I said, when you see 3 wires, typically it's a single voltage motor, and somebody's either rewired it or you'd have to make sure you got the right voltage. Now I should have checked this. It wouldn't have made a difference when I bought it, if I bought it or not, because up until last week I wasn't planning on using this anyway. So I still want to try to use it because of the feeds and speeds, but if we can't, we'll figure something else out. But I am going to use it. I'm pretty sure I can fix it to where I can use this gearbox. So that's going to be even more interesting video in the end. What I'm going to do now is I've probably got the tools sitting here already. Get the tools, and we're going to break the motor away from the gearbox. All right, so here we go. 5/8, 9/16. Go ahead and take these bolts out. This is a retainer for the bearing. Go ahead and break it loose because the end bell probably won't come out without it. We had this same thing happen at in the plant I used to work in. We'd bought a compressor and we ordered it with 480 volts, and it was a 150 horsepower compressor, and maybe it was, yeah, but it came in 575 volts, and we ran it for a couple of years on 480, and we had always had problems with it tripping out and things like that. It never performed like we wanted it to. The tag had said 480 volts, but when we finally had somebody come out and work on the motor, it turned out that it was wired for 575. And so they said that out of that 150 or 100 horsepower or whatever it was, we were running about half of its capacity. So that's why we was having trouble with it tripping. All right, I'm just going to break these loose. That's a little sharp point right there. Yeah, somebody's been in here before. They've cut. Man, I wish I knew. You know what, guys? There's a little tag right here. Let me get my glasses on. There's a little tag right here. It looks like it says it's been rewired, but it's faded really bad. 480 volts. So all right, let's pause the camera. I'm gonna go get some looking at this. All right, guys, so I got my hopes up there for a minute. I seen a little tag on the side of the gearbox here. And if you look real close, it looks like it says 480. However, I got to digging around and looked at my at the starter that came with this lathe, and it's a 600 volt coil in it. So that's telling me that it was never changed. So we're going to go ahead and take it apart, and we're going to look for an option how to fix it. It doesn't really matter. However we do things, I'm sure we can make parts to do it. Make some good video doing that. We're going to get this lathe up and running somehow, even if we have to go back to the line shaft here. All right, so should be able to just get all the screws out of that end. This is the first time I've ran into this. I have ran into the 480 single voltage deal, but never ran into a 550 volt motor. Not around here anyway. It's not here. So, need to get that bearing off. And I'm not even going to worry about that. I want to see how this whole assembly comes out. I'm hoping this is going to pop. Yep, there it comes. Alright. Got a rat's nest in it, a bunch of acorns. So, looks like we have a connection that's got to be made inside the gearbox. So, that's good and bad. Actually, it's not a problem at all. Now we got a gearbox that's got support. So even if we did something like pull this rotor off, we could use this shaft, make this shaft and use it for a drive if we had to. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rotate this over. There's a little plate on the bottom to access that gearbox. We're going to open it up and look in it. Yeah, this ain't gonna be a problem. We'll get this done somehow. It might do a little machine work. I know a guy that's got a lathe or two. All right, so let's roll it over. That's too far here. Pretty sure it was empty. All right, so we're gonna roll it over. That's that. Maybe we won't have to chase that thing everywhere. All right, so we need. All right, guys. So we got the gearbox flipped upside down. Like I said, we have the rotor assembly going into the gearbox. So we're going to pull the bottom plate off, look at here and see how it all comes apart. Ooh, it smells bad. All right, let's see what we got here. The gearbox looks really good inside. However, I don't see a connection point there. Looks like we're going to have to pull the bearing and the shaft is part of the gearbox. So what I wanted to do ain't gonna quite work, but we can still use the gearbox by using the shaft. So let's get some setup. We'll get set up and we'll start pulling the armature or the rotor and the bearing off. Alright guys, so we got the gearbox taken apart, we got the rotor off of the shaft and the pulleys off of this end. Now these pulleys, and I've never seen these, but these look like they're purposely done this way, but there's a two-piece pulley here for that double drive. To me it's kind of cheesy, but you know what, it worked. And so look for something else to work too there. I probably won't put them back on. Alright, so here's where we're at with the gearbox. Right now, my plan is to modify the gearbox and mount a motor to it somehow, either belt driven or modify the shaft and couple or something. I definitely have to support this end. This shaft is, you know, is designed to be supported with outboard bearing. So right now it's got a lot of play in it. It looks like, and I'm sure I'm going to have to disassemble the whole gearbox and modify the shaft. Like I said, what I'm thinking right now is I'm going to make a bell housing here with a bearing fit and a bearing fit on the shaft, and either bore the shaft out and accept the coupling, or couple the shaft to a motor. I'm not sure. I got a C-frame motor that I can use. I mean, that's just one of the things that we need to look at. So right now, I'm not really disappointed, but I'm not really happy either. This is going to be a lot of work, but you know what? It's a learning experience and can make some good video. All right, so what I want to do now though is I'm going to take a few days and just think about it and what I want to do and how I want to do it, and kind of just put my mind in the right place. And so during that time when I'm going to release this video, I want to welcome any comments, any ideas, any suggestions that you have. The one thing that probably won't happen, and I'm pretty sure it won't, is using the motor. The last time I checked, it was like $500 to rewind a motor that size, and for $500 I could find another gearbox. So it ain't that just ain't happening. So again, welcome suggestions, comments, any ideas, and throw them out there. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing one of you guys can see. Now as far as the gearbox goes, I'm going to spin it around here, and if you look, it's in great condition. I mean, it's like brand new inside. So I don't want to not use it. And like I said, if I don't use it on the lathe, I got something else that I need a gearbox like this for, and it'll be fine with just a couple modifications. So, and there you have it. Again, like I said, I'm not really disappointed. I'm just, you know, just kind of got to punt and play, you know, figure out what your next move is. So, like I said, leave me a comment, shoot me ideas. You know, be great. For right now, that's what I'm planning on doing. You know, I'll get in there and get on the AutoCAD or something and start trying to draw up something. So, look forward to hearing any comments about it, any ideas, any suggestions, and I mean, you know, don't hold back. So I guess that's going to wrap it up. Appreciate you watching the videos. You know, it's fun making them. Just stuff like this is fun. I mean, I may look like I'm a little distraught right now, but I'm not. I'm just got so much going through my head trying to think about what to do. So I'm going to wrap up this video. And again, I want to thank everybody for watching and leaving comments and stuff. So, from the Backyard Machine Shop, so long.